Good evening, everyone. How's it going? Hey. Was it last year at this time? No, it was 2 years ago. I did a stream where I talked about my favorite games of the last decade. Coco with the resub at 31 months. Holy shit. Thanks, man. Appreciate that. How's it going? Chinchinde is back. Welcome. How's it going? I did a stream 2 years ago around this time, where we talked about my favorite games of the last decade, and it was fun. It was about an hour and a half, and we just talked about the top 10, my top 10, and it was a good conversation. Everybody, mentioned some things. What about this game? What about this game? And all fun conversation. I realized that I missed one on my list, and it would have been Rainbow Six Siege. That would have been one of my favorite games of the last decade. I played a lot of Rainbow Six Siege. So that's trying to look at 10 years worth of games, because I make a top 10 list every year. This year, I'm only looking at 1 year. I will say there are some games that I wanted to play but didn't get a chance to play. We're going to talk about those first, and then we're going to talk about the honorable mentions. There's 5 of those in alphabetical order, and then I've got the top 10. And on each of those, I've got a little bit of like whatever the release trailer was for the game. We'll watch that together, and then we will talk about them a little bit. And then when I get into the top 10, when I'm talking about the game, we'll flip to a different view. You'll be able to see the running total of the list for the top 10. I'll have that up on screen sometimes, and then we'll play a long play video, gameplay video of that game. So I've got a bunch of links down here and things. I'm going to be managing a bunch of different things, but I'm going to be keeping an eye on chat the whole time, because I know there are games that I didn't get to play this year that maybe would have been on the list, but of the ones that I played and that I enjoyed, this will be a fun conversation. So let's get into it. I should turn the music down just a little bit. I want it in the background, but I don't want it too loud. Yeah, that's good right there. Just nice and quiet in the background. Okay. Oh, my bot finally posted in the Discord, and it's me going like this. It's stupid. I don't know why sometimes it takes a picture and posts it in 30 seconds, then some other times it takes like 5 minutes. Alright, so the Discord bot posted. So we're going to start first with the games I wanted to play but didn't have a chance to. Either because my time, or more than likely, it was because I spent too much time playing Animal Crossing earlier this year and Valorant later in the year. All right, let's flip to the desktop. That's not desktop view, TV view. So I've set something else up a little differently, so we can watch them together like this, like we're watching TV together. All right, this is a game that came out on PC, and I want to say maybe PS5 and Xbox Series X, but I know it was at least on PC. It's called Chernobylite. Let's take a look at the trailer.
Rated mature.
35 years ago, something happened here. Something so wrong that it opened the door to places that some of you might have compared
No, chef.
to.
Let me know if the volume's good.
Now this man, Igor, is trying to fix it. He's exhausted because surviving here, it's a horror.
Who's there? Don't shoot.
I'm giving you a 10-second head start, Igor. Run.
Fortunately, Igor is not alone.
Everyone, it's time to hit the power plant.
But forming a fellowship with deep bonds is just another troubling issue. They might be friends,
Your plan sucks balls. I can't force you.
but traitors as well. It all depends on Igor's choices.
Should I tell Olivier to run some errands, or should I do it myself?
One might ask. What's it all for? What's at stake? The answer is as old as humanity.
You've already tried and failed, Igor. Perhaps there's a better way.
It's love. But what if it's all a lie? Maybe it's just a story of a lowly stalker trying to survive in a radioactive hell. Or maybe the point is that it's your story, waiting for you to be written.
Let's see what you're made of.
Alright, so there's a console release date trailer, so it looks like for that. Here's the thing with Chernobylite. Love the setting, obviously, very much like Stalker, which is a really cool game that I'm not good at, but came out on PC quite some time ago. Stalker 2 is coming soon. We'll talk about that later. It also looks quite a bit like Metro, the Metro series. So Metro 2033, Metro Last Light, and Metro Exodus, although Exodus takes place in different locations. But this is more of an RPG. They call it a survival horror RPG because of some of the survival horror type aspects, but there's a lot of like base building and doing things with your crew, trying to build a crew, conversations, dialogue trees, things like that happen, as you can see on screen there. Enough to where I thought maybe this isn't going to be something that I want to stream. It's like a 30-hour game. 25 to 30 hours is what I saw on howlongtobeat.com. And I think that this also, it's a smaller dev team. I don't know how it runs, if it's all that well optimized. I've heard mixed things. And the other thing is there's only like 4 or 5 main areas in the game that you will continue to go back to run different missions. In that respect, a tiny bit like Tarkov, but this has nothing to do with Tarkov. It is not loot and exfil type of game. Kind of, but not really. So it's more of an RPG. Think more, a little bit more of a hardcore Fallout, but with a Metro Exodus type setting. So this looked cool, and I kind of wanted to play it, but I didn't get around to it, and that's where we are with it. The game is only $12 right now on the Epic sale, and I'm really tempted to pick it up and maybe give it a try sometime soon. Hi, Robin. I am not a Metro Exodus type setting. I can tell you that right now. Let's see. All right, the next one I want to talk about. Here's another game that I didn't get to. Wanted to, didn't get to. And that's Deathloop.
This whole island's like a broken record, skipping endlessly on one fulfilling day.
Everybody chose to be here, Colt. Nobody's gonna thank
From
you
the same
for
developer that
destroying
made
Paradise.
Dishonored 1 and 2.
Then it's on me to end it for all of us.
What's EGS, Chef? Oh, Epic Game Store. I got you. I got you. I like Steam more, for sure. Yeah, it's $10 more on Steam. It's $22 on Steam. It's normally $30. So it's 12 something on Epic. That's the thing.
Hi, Colt.
If you just want to save $10, you can get it on Epic, but it's Epic.
Nice try. Enjoy the beach.
Come on.
So I love the aesthetics of this game.
Hide your true self.
I'll just kind of turn it down a little bit and just talk over it. I love the aesthetics of this game. but I'll be honest, Dishonored 1 and 2 were good games, but to me they weren't great games. The story was whatever. The gameplay was pretty good. The graphics were... It's a very specific type of graphic style, which you can see. This is the same type of character models, but with a 60s type flair. But I wasn't sure if the gameplay loop was going to pull me in, because the whole point of it is to replay sections. And I got a lot of that in some other games this year. We'll get to the top 10. So I love the look at this. I've had some people tell me it's a fantastic game, but also, like I said, considering I'm not a massive fan of the Dishonored games, and this is very close to that, I figured I'll wait. And it's been on sale a couple times.
We're never getting out of here.
I waited on it because I knew that it was going to be on sale pretty cheap over the break, because it's a single player only game. Now there is a co-op kind of, but it's not co-op. It's like a competitive co-op. You can get into someone else's game as the female character, who's also an assassin, and your job is to hunt the other player. It's almost like raids in Dark Souls, which, fuck that. Like, I don't want anything to do with that. Yeah, it's got Dark Souls multiplayer. Exactly, Robin. That's exactly right. And you quite like Deathloop. Okay. It's a good looking game. I just don't know how it's going to play. And like I said, wasn't sure how I'm going to feel about it. I'll catch it when it's even cheaper here in the spring. I'm sure they're going to continue to drop the price down, because, by the way, all the other games that they've made, both the Dishonored games and especially Prey, those games you can get for a song. They gave Prey away from the same studio, okay? They gave it away on EGS recently. So, and I've bought Prey. I got it when it was like $5. I haven't even played it yet. So it's nothing against the developer. They're fantastic. Obviously, they know what they're doing. They just make a specific type of game that I like, but I don't love. And that's kind of where we are with that. So that's why that one is not on my list. Here's another one that maybe would have been on my list. I had it on my watch list, and I thought about it. Well, let's catch up on chat. Dishonored was fun, just the story BS. Yes, it was. Yeah. Let's open this up a bit more, blow it out a bit more, make it bigger. Can I make it bigger? Is it going to get bigger? No. Unless you turn it off, people will be turning up to kill you. Yeah, I would immediately turn that off, is what I would do. Powers in Dishonored have more thought behind the system, don't clash the narrative, which is always my biggest issue with Dishonored. Yeah. The narrative made no sense compared to the gameplay at all, and it just didn't quite feel like... I love the blink. I mean, obviously blink is a fantastic power to have in these games, so that's cool. Okay, the next game is something that DT Fishboat was streaming over the last couple of weeks, and he just finished it. I want to say earlier this week or last week. It's called The Forgotten City. Yep, full screen, please.
Salve, friend.
Now this, I want to say they take like the Skyrim engine, and it's very dialogue driven.
I don't think so. I've never seen you before in my life.
Yeah, it's a mod for Skyrim, right? Which is pretty cool and ambitious, and it got really good reviews. That it's very story driven. My thing was, this is gonna be a 20 or 30 hour game.
One person commits a sin here, every last one of us will die.
I love that setup.
In this city is about to break the golden
But do I want to spend that much time playing a game that's very dialogue driven? It's not really what I do on this channel. I like these types of games, but it's a big investment of time. And I wasn't sure that I wanted to do that for the channel.
Either you don't know the difference between right and wrong, or this unknown god doesn't.
So you've played this one, Robin?
But did you ever get the feeling some of these statues are watching us?
So not really much combat, right? It's mostly exploration, which is fine.
How is it that you've just arrived here and you already know everyone and exactly what's about to happen?
Another time loop game. Boy, that was the feature of the year, wasn't it?
Salve, friend. I'm Galerius.
There you go. There's your time loop.
I'll tell you this much. I hate the fact that my survival depends on the common sense of other people.
I've lived through a pandemic.
Then you know what I'm talking about.
Ha ha ha. So, Forgotten City, like the concept a lot. It caught me when it came out. I was kind of into a couple other games, and I'm like, I'll add it to my wish list. And there it sat on my wish list throughout the rest of the year. So maybe that's on me, but looks kind of neat. Just not something that I wanted to throw $30 at the time. I'm not someone who buys a ton of games and then lets them sit there unless they're on sale really cheap. And I'm like, well, there's no reason not to buy this and add it to my... But I don't want to spend full price on a game if I know I'm not going to play it in the next few months. Does that make me a bad person? I don't think so. In the PC world, you can wait a little bit and things will go on sale, maybe cheaper or quicker than they do in the console world. So it's on Game Pass. See, I don't have Game Pass, which is why this next game is also on my list. Maybe you've heard of it. It's called Forza Horizon 5. Yeah, so I did that dollar thing last year for 1 month, and I played a bunch of games on it, and then I canceled it. Actually, I kept it for 2 months. It's a great deal. I just don't play enough of a wide variety enough of games to make it worth the spend, and then I'll forget about it, and it will stay on for years and years. So, look at this game, first of all. Obviously, it's gorgeous. My thing with this game is... racing games, when I'm streaming, I can't watch the chat. I just can't, because I'm driving. I'm like not blinking. I'm staring at the screen. Everything's flying at you at 100 frames a second, and there's no downtime unless you're pausing and changing your car or whatever. But because it's an open world type driving game, you're driving a lot. And if I'm driving, I'm not looking at chat. And I feel like, because I streamed Forza Horizon 4 a couple times, and I just found myself struggling to watch the chat. And I don't want to do that. I want to be more interactive. I want to make sure I'm talking with people if they're in the chat and being interactive. I want to interact back. I can't really do that in most racing games, especially open world racing games like this. Now, the other thing is, it is such a graphical beast that I wasn't sure that I was going to be able to run it on the same computer. Now, if I had Game Pass, I would have tried it. It also launched really buggy for the first week or so. There's a lot of problems that need to be fixed with patches. So, hey, I do want to play it. I'll get around to it at some point. Maybe I'll sign up for Game Pass again one of these days. Who knows? Robin says, some people kind of suck the fun out of racing games for me. How is that? How is that? Some people kind of suck the fun out of racing games for me. Like, how do you mean? I'm curious. But that's Forza Horizon 5. Tons of awards. Best driving game of the year. Now, there wasn't a ton of competition. Formula One put out another game, but that series has a new installment every year. Forza Horizon is every 3 years, give or take. So, and the biggest complaints I saw about this were it's pretty much a reskinned Forza Horizon 4. Okay, because they really perfected a lot of things with 4, other than the online. The online multiplayer was a little borked at times and not fun to try to get into lobbies. So I don't know if they fixed that. Not really sure. Forza Horizon is that like arcadey sort of racing game, and they think everything needs to be a robust driving simulation. Oh, no. Here's the thing. If you're a fan of racing games, most people know that Horizon is not Forza. It's Forza Horizon. It's not Forza Motorsport 7. It's Horizon. They've got their cake and eat it too. The problem is, when's the last Forza Motorsport that's come out on PC? It's been a while. So they really need the next one to come out on PC, and I think they will, considering what they've got going on, and they're starved for first-party content. I mean, they released 2 games like in the last 2 years, and that's this and Halo. So, and they've been waiting on these 2 games to try to release for a while. But all that to say, I like the franchise a lot. I 100%ed the first 2 on Xbox 360, so love them, love them, love them. I'm sure it probably would have been on my list. It just didn't find playtime for me this year. Taking too many blue shells. We'll fix that for you. Okay, Toko. Making contributions. I see. Thanks. Glad you're here. All right. This next one, this is kind of a weird one because it won a ton of awards, but it's a 2-player co-op game that's on the same screen. You know what I'm talking about. It's called It Takes Two. We'll chat about that here in a second. Come on.
This is Joseph Fares, game director at Hazelight, and I'm here to show you gameplay of It Takes Two. The game is a co-op action-adventure platformer with a focus on marrying the story and gameplay. You play as Cody and May, 2 parents that have decided to divorce. Of course, this upsets their daughter Rose, who creates 2 dolls that the parents magically turn into. And with the guidance of a cheesy love book called Dr. Hakim,
they have to stay together.
Hey, thanks, Toko. I'm glad you're here.
You now control Cody and May on this crazy ride.
So, this gameplay, I'm intrigued. A good platformer type game. There's a lot of variety in how you play it. I think it requires 2 people, like at all times. And I don't know if you can play through the campaign with a random person spawning in. That wouldn't be the same, though. Like, you'd want to play with a friend. You would need to have a friend who's committed to playing this with you the entire time. And that's tough to find with my crew, so. But I love the look of the game. I love the concept. He basically took his earlier game, A Way Out, and made it into something a little more accessible, and you can't really argue with that.
Pieces of a magnet as a metaphor for their attraction. Use the magnets to push and pull your way through danger.
But you can see when you watch this why it won so many awards and why so many people enjoyed it. So, and the other thing is they can pretty much take this concept and run with it in a sequel without too much trouble at all. So
Cody can now control time and reverse objects, and May can make a clone of herself to swap places.
So It Takes Two. Did anybody in chat play this, or is this just one that a lot of critics and streamers played and that's about it? I say streamer like it's a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. Just people whose day job is to just content, putting out content. Because I did see some people playing this on stream for the week that it came out, and then it disappeared because it's only however long. See, that looks like fun. The game looks like fun. It does. It just didn't really fit in with how we do things here. So.
Have a great trip, and I hope you enjoy the game. I know you will.
All right, there's 2 more that did not make my list, but they're games that I would have probably either had on my list or they would have been contenders had I had the chance to play them. And this one is the only game that is on Nintendo Switch that's anywhere on my list. So there's a spoiler right there. So of course you know what it is. It's Metroid Dread. I don't know. The autoplay on this is too aggressive. Yeah, coordinating with a friend to play all the time is just... It's 2021, even though everybody's working from home, it's still kind of tough.
I've run a full analysis. My readings indicate dramatic physical changes.
Now, there's 2 reasons why I didn't pick this up. Number 1, I didn't grow up a massive Metroid fan. The gameplay didn't really click with me in the first couple of Metroid games. Super Metroid, the original Metroid on NES, they're great, but for some reason, they weren't great to me. I just played them a little bit and I got bored. I guess I was looking for something else in my platformers. The exploration stuff didn't really click with me. It does more now, and I can appreciate that as well as all the old Castlevania, Symphony of the Night and those with all the exploration. But I'm not a massive fan of them. Honestly, I'd rather play Metroid Prime 4 when it comes out. Like, I pre-ordered that. I'm waiting. But the 2D doesn't make me as excited. The other reason is... Oh, I'm using a browser that I'm not even logged into. I only use this browser for Twitch stuff, so no, Robin. You're funny, though. The other thing is... I'd recently given up on Animal Crossing up to the point to where I didn't even want to look at my Switch anymore because I played it every single day for over a year. And I said, I have to stop playing this game. I'm grinding for no reason. I have 108 million bells in the bank. I just need to stop. And I thought, if I pick up my Switch, I'm going to boot that up again. Like, thinking like an addict almost. And so when this came out not long after I quit playing Animal Crossing, I thought, am I going to have to uninstall Animal Crossing? And then, of course, they put out a big update for Animal Crossing. I haven't touched it. Haven't even touched it. Because I know it's going to suck me in again. So that's kind of why I stayed away from this, which isn't really fair to the game. But that's why I did. So I appreciate Metroid. I just am not the biggest fan of Metroidvania style. Okay. Yeah, I mean, look, being able to go back to an area when you've got another power, you're like, oh, now I'll be able to get up to that platform. I love that. We'll talk about that in a different game. But I understand where you're coming from. Toko, the power of the Nook. Dude, Tom Nook is a son of a bitch. All right, this is the last game on this list of games that I wanted to play and didn't get the chance to for whatever reason. And this one is a little more straightforward. This is called Psychonauts 2. This was on some people's #1 on their end of year lists. I think people have been waiting so long for the sequel, and that the fact that it lived up to expectations.
My name is Raz, and I'm the new intern. It's my first day on the job.
Get ready, Rasputin.
But I'll tell you, the main reason why I didn't play it, because I was interested. The main reason I didn't play it is because... Nerd confession. I never played the first one. I know. I don't need to hear it. I never played the first one. I feel like if I'm going to play the second one, I need to play the first one. That's my reasoning. It's a terrible excuse. Also on Game Pass. Man, Game Pass, bringing it. With the day and date releases, it's amazing.
No. Quit picking on the new kid. We were all new once, in case you forgot.
I've got eyes on the target. And I've got eyes on me.
All I see is another unruly peasant.
Well, yeah, it's been a long time for everybody, Chef. Damn, this game... The original came out so long ago. I mean, original Xbox. The fact that they were able to make a sequel finally, I think they had to crowdfund this to get it made originally, and then it ended up turning out as well as it did. It's a great story. It's something that Tim Schafer and his crew Double Fine, they should be proud of that for sure.
Leave it to me.
So, yeah, I missed that one for a couple reasons, and those are the reasons. But mostly because I just hadn't played the first one. All right, so the games I wanted to play and didn't get a chance to: Chernobylite, Deathloop, Forgotten City, Forza Horizon 5, It Takes Two, Metroid Dread, Psychonauts 2. Those are all games that were either on people's lists or, all of those were on a lot of top 10 lists. Chernobylite wasn't really on too many lists, I think because it's a smaller game and it's a smaller dev studio. Probably didn't get a lot of the word of mouth that people would have needed for a game like that. Also, the look of it is a little bit too much like something like Stalker. So, That might have been why. Oh, you played Halo Infinite campaign on the PC Game Pass? Hey, PC Game Pass is a great deal. The Ultimate one on console is too, if you have that, for sure. Okay, we're past that. Now, we're working our way towards the list, but before we get into the list, I have 5 honorable mentions. I'm not going to cheese out and say tied for 11th, but I will say this. All 5 of these are games that I've played on stream in the last 12 months. And we're going to start with this one. And this game was only like $2 on Steam. There was no reason for anyone not to purchase it. It's Alt F4. This game cracked me up so much. The music cracked me up. The blood when you get hit with stuff. It's super hard to play. It has a sense of humor. Oh, there's not much to it. But it's very Monty Python feeling. And if you didn't appreciate that, then I don't know what to tell you, because that game, it was like $2 on Steam, right? So in terms of the dollar amount that I spent versus the enjoyment I got out of it, great spend. Good enough to be on the top 10? No. Not even close. It's an honorable mention. That's why it's not on the top 10. But the game made me laugh. I enjoyed it. I got mad because I sucked at it. It plays a lot of tricks on you. It's kind of like a baby version of I Want to Be the Guy, but with floatier physics. And I'll tell you what, when this came out, it was a fun game to stream. I streamed it a few times. I gave up because I got about as far as I was going to get. The game gets harder as you go. No, this is my honorable mention. Should I have a thing up on the screen that says honorable mention? That's where we are right now. So, it's not a great game, not by any stretch, but I had fun with it. And here's the thing. These games are meant to be what I enjoyed the most. Doesn't mean they're the greatest games ever made, or the most beautiful games ever made, or the best play controls. What did I enjoy the most, right? It's not these are the best games of the year, right? I don't play every single game, obviously. So for me to say these are the best games of the year would be bullshit, because that makes it sound like I played everything. No, my favorite games of the year. This was one of my favorite games. Honorable mention, right? We'll put it in there like that. All right. This is another one, and before I get into it, I want to say full disclosure. I am friends with the person who is part owner of this company. So, but that is not what is influencing my decision at all. I only streamed this once, but I did play it a couple other times off stream. It is Breakout meets original 2D Mario Brothers. It's called Anton Ball Deluxe. This is a fun launch trailer, by the way. So, the concept's pretty simple to understand. The gameplay gets pretty freaking hard.
Hey, you! Yeah, you! I'm talking to you over there. Are you ready to play with your balls? You better. Come along with me, Anton Ball, on a brick-breaking, ball-busting...
So you have to play like Mario. You have to catch the ball. So instead of controlling a little paddle at the bottom, you're the person on the... And you have to jump and catch it, and then throw it. And then you'll get power-ups and things. And you have to jump up and down on platforms. And the controls are tight. There's also a separate game mode called Punch Ball, where you're throwing a heavy ball at people. And then there's the online multiplayer version, which they added that later on PC. I did not play that yet, the online multiplayer. 69 levels.
69, dudes! 69.
It's old school, kind of, but it's unlike anything that's out there. It is... It's the Oh, it's the next song. Like I said, the controls are great. It's very addictive. Pick up and play. Like, one more try. Those are I love when games can do that to me and get me continuing to retry and retry. Did I finish through all 69 stages? Hell no. It gets hard. But I like the concept. It's a simple, easy elevator pitch. 2D Mario Brothers, original Mario Brothers meets Breakout. There you go. And it's not too expensive. You can get it on sale for like $14.99. But there's enough to do in the game. And then when they added in local and or online multiplayer, that was awesome. I don't think online was working at launch, or maybe I'm mistaken. I'm not sure. But it's fun. It's a fun little game, a little indie thing. And like I said, I may know the person who's part owner of the company, but that has nothing to do with this. I bought the game. I paid for the game. I did not get a free copy to play it. So, and even if I get a free copy, it wouldn't influence my opinion of it. So that is on my honorable mentions. We are still doing honorable mentions. Now this next one, I didn't spend a lot of time with this game, and I feel like if I had, it would have maybe made my list, maybe towards the back end of the list. We'll just go ahead and press enter.
You're listening to KO City Pirate Radio.
That's right, Knockout City. I'm a little miffed that I paid $20 for this, and then a few weeks later it was free on Amazon Prime. Like, they gave it away. But in exchange, they had a demo version that ran, and your progress carried over if you bought the game. So me and a couple friends played it. We loved it. We all bought the game, or like 3 of us bought the game, and then we never played it again. But I respect what they did with this. They took an idea and they said, let's take like an NBA Jam style game and turn it into dodgeball. The gameplay itself wasn't quite as deep. You can lob the ball, you can spin it around, but the gameplay itself wasn't really deep enough to make me want to keep coming back to it. But having said that, that's nothing against the game. I think they did about as much as they could with the concept. It played well once you get used to the controls. The controls are a little weird at first because you've never played a dodgeball game, not like this. So, yeah, exactly, Toko. You're 100% right. It was fun for a time, and then that time passed, maybe a little bit too quick. I think I maybe ditched it a little sooner than I should have. I should have gone back and tried to stream it again. But it was going to be more fun with friends, and then my friends, they immediately were like, hey, let's play Splitgate. So that's Knockout City. It's fun. It's colorful. It's I'm trying to think of the right words to say. They stepped out when they made this game and did something a little bit different, and it's original enough to where I wanted to make sure that I mentioned it on this list. Having said that, I should have played more of it. I really should have. I did not play enough of it. So I just mentioned a game. It's next on the list, or at least I'm putting it up on the list, even though alphabetically it's just a tiny bit out of order. And it's Splitgate. And Splitgate has a lot of similarities in the fact that Splitgate has an elevator pitch that's super easy to understand. It's Halo mixed with Portal. Hello? Having said that, this is another one of those games that was really fun for like a week or two, and then we all just moved on to other things. And I was trying to get friends to play it. I'm like, dude, let's play some more Splitgate. And it was like, I'm like, that was fun. I knew when Halo Infinite came out that it was going to kill whatever multiplayer was of this. I haven't gone back to check it, because when they made Halo Infinite into multiplayer free-to-play, I knew that was going to be the death knell for this game. Well, they did fix that. Early on, it was tough to get into a match, Toko. Like, we waited. When the beta first launched, we waited for quite some time. It was annoying trying to get into a game of Splitgate. But they did fix it to where you could get into games pretty quickly. Now, they put it out on PS5, PS4, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X a little later, but not right at the same time that PC. We already played it on PC. Then I had some friends who were like, dude, we should all download Splitgate and play it sometime. My friends I play with on the weekends on console. Downloaded it, installed it, went in and set up a character, and we never played it together because that crew, we just play Battlefield. So that was the challenge with that. This last one, another full disclosure, I do know someone who works at this company, and he provided me with a free code, but that has nothing to do with it. I'm a big sucker for sniping in video games. Love it. Love sniping in games. So when you give me a near future game where I can go in an open area and just snipe people and get graded on how well I do, you can still go stealth and like sneak up on people, but honestly, that's really not what this game's about. This game's about shooting people from long distances and hitting them in the head and watching stuff go flying everywhere. What more do you need? This is my favorite in the series. There's been 5 total games in the series. See, there's some stealth too. Oof. The first 3, well, the first 2 are pretty linear, and the controls are a little off. The third one was basically Far Cry 3, but sniping. But it was a smaller dev team, and they were too ambitious. The game had a lot of problems. The thought concept was there. It just didn't quite deliver up to what we had hoped. The level of polish was not there. Look at that. If you like long-range shooting in games, you should check this out, because literally it's like this. Get up to an area, but there's other options to get into areas and do things too. So you don't have to get up on this where this person is. You can go over there off to the left, or there's another section. It's not open world, but each of the levels that you have are pretty open, and there's multiple ways to attack things. So, Sniper Ghost Warrior Contracts 2, that's what I'm talking about. Ouch. The Sniper Ghost Warrior games are good for what they are. Contracts 1 was an improvement in the fact that they said, let's keep the core of what worked in Contracts, or Sniper Ghost Warrior 3, and scale it back a bit. So there's big open areas, but it's not an entire huge map that we're trying to deal with. We're dealing on like 5 or 6 fairly large areas. And it worked. I think it worked really well. So this is the best one in the series, and I'm a big fan of it. And I did get a free copy, but that has nothing to do with why I think it should at least be on as an honorable mention, because this is the best in the series. I am partial to these as opposed to Sniper Elite. I think people talk about Sniper Elite more because like the last 2 have had missions where you shoot Hitler, and who doesn't want to shoot Hitler, right? So I get it. But the World War II era weapons, I don't really care. There's more forced stealth type stuff in those games, where in this there's a couple of areas in each of the worlds, but that's for you when you have to get from one point to another, and they're broken up quite a bit. It's not extensively sections where you have to crawl around like you're playing Splinter Cell. That's not what you should be doing in these games anyway. And I think that the devs in this at CI, I think they understand that. So yeah, Sniper Elite is the one with the X-ray. This has this hyper slow motion of the bullet hitting and going through, where Sniper Elite has the X-ray, which the X-ray is cool. Like, I'm not hating. Have I played all the Sniper Elite games? They're very good. They're very good games. Just personally, I do enjoy these just a little bit more. Okay. We are now through the honorable mention section. So now we're going to get in. That's my Discord. We're going to get into the top 10. And after we talk about number 10, I'll bring up a little thing so we can kind of keep score at home on the scorecard. All right. This is my number 10 for the year.
A new day is upon us. A new generation built to fight. Together, we are unstoppable. Are you ready?
Hello, let's do some damage. Skewer acquired.
Gee, thanks, Chef.
Claim the enemy flag. Return it to base. Ordnance drop inbound. The flag is ours. Please haul ass at your earliest convenience.
I mean, look at that game. Oddball. The thing is, that's all in engine, and the game looks about that good.
Show me what you can do.
Man, I bet they had a lot of fun making that trailer. So, I gotta tell you, Halo, as it stands, is a franchise that it's 20 years in. And by the way, I'm talking about the multiplayer, okay? So number 10 on my list is the multiplayer for Halo Infinite. Because, and real quick, let me do something here. You see me everywhere. Because Halo, there's the list. Look at that. You know what I could do? Yeah. Instead of doing all the way I was going to do this. Hey, hang on just a second. All right, we'll talk about Halo in just a second. We'll get deeper into this. All right, now the whole list is there. No, I don't want to run the risk. Okay. Halo Infinite is better than I expected it would be. Definitely better. It runs like a dream. Super smooth. Even on like mid to high settings on PC while I'm streaming at the same time, it runs super rock solid frame rates. And it still looks really good. Even on low settings, it looks really good. The character models, everything, the lighting, it's fantastic. I don't know what engine they did this with. If it's a new engine or if they've just redid an older engine. I don't know. I honestly haven't paid that much attention. But considering the last Halo didn't come out on PC, and this launched with almost no issues at all. I'll say almost. It's pretty impressive. And for about 2 weeks, this was in the rotation with my friends, a lot of streamers, just tons of Halo Infinite. And then I think the nostalgia wore off, because there are new weapons in this, but the game modes are pretty much what you expect. And on top of that, there weren't any real lobbies that you could go and say, I just want to play Slayer battle rifles. I want to play SWAT or sniper shotties. Those playlists were mixed in with other things. So, I mean, the game just came out. Go ahead and have a couple of different playlists, right? The ones that people are going to be asking for. SWAT, Shoddy Sniper. Give me those as separate playlists. You're not going to be fracturing your player base much. You've got millions of people playing in launch week, but they didn't do that. They wanted to keep it a little tighter together on the playlist front, and that hurt it a little bit, because we like, everybody has a different game mode they like. Oddball, Capture the Flag, Team Slayer, whatever. That, and I think there were some really cool new weapons. The skewer is awesome. Getting headshots with that skewer, amazing. And it feels just like the Halo you remember. But is that enough to get past the nostalgia factor and to keep you playing it after a couple weeks? It didn't for me and for most of my friends. Now, having said that, I still have it installed. I'm ready. Chef, you want to play some Halo? I'm down to play some Halo. Let's do it. Is Sam Kenobi? Sam Kenobi? Did I have that right? Since I was a kid, my eyes, Halo's graphics never changed. I'm glad you mentioned that. First time chatter. Welcome to the stream. We're going through my top 10 games of the year. I agree 100%, because with Halo, the way you remember it, this is how it looks. When you go back and play Halo on the original Xbox and you look at it, it was barely 30 frames a second. Everything looked boxy, because that was what games looked like 20 years ago. This looks the way we remember Halo, and that's probably the biggest compliment I can give it. And it runs better than any other Halo game ever. I don't have Game Pass, so I have not played the campaign, and I didn't want to give them $60 just for a campaign that I'm going to play once and then put away. I'm not one of those who likes to grind the campaign to beat it on every difficulty and try to unlock all the skulls. That's not my thing. It's just not my thing. Kudos to you if it is your thing. Totally no problem. I get it. Just for me, it's not my thing. So glad they delayed it after that first announcement. Fantastic decision. The first announcement, it was early. It was rough. The game looked rough. The campaign looked rough, what they showed of it. And people just said, it's Halo with a grappling hook. They had to control that narrative, and they did. Hey, Toko with the gifted sub to our new viewer, I Sam Kenobi. Thank you for that gift.
Boy 0824 gifted a tier 1 sub to Isam Kenobi.
Thank you for that gifted sub.
164 gift subs in the channel.
164 gifted subs. Toko, you are a beast. Thank you. Fiesta got added back in? Oh, okay. Oh, Kenobi. It's Kenobi. Okay. You know Kenobi? Toko? Thank you. SWAT is called Tactical Slayer now, which is hilarious. Really? Dude, it's been SWAT for 20 years. Just call it SWAT. We all know what SWAT is. Tactical Slayer. Get out of here with that. Let's play again next week. I'm in, dude. Let's go. I mean, obviously, Valorant's still number 1 in my rotation because I want to try to see if I can't finish out that battle pass. I'm at like almost 45 out of 50. And by finish, I'm not trying to get the bonus stuff after level 50. I just want to get to 50. That would be great. I'd like to unlock that Frenzy skin. But other than that, this is a damn good game. I would like to play more of it. The more friends you play it with, the better it is. Because you almost feel for a minute like you're at a LAN party. And that's the true memory and the true gift that we all got from the original Halo. And Halo 2. Okay. Sorry. It's a lot of talking. I'm doing a lot of talking. It sounded more pleasant than it actually was. The plan was to do Fiesta 3 times. For the doggos. Yeah, that's right. Every single penny I make on this channel goes to charity. So, whether it's subs, gifted subs, bits, direct donos. If you buy merch, I have merch. Like my shirt I'm wearing for the doggos. Every penny I make from it goes to charity. So, Canine Companions provide service animals to people with disabilities, absolutely free of charge. And I don't know if you know anything about service dogs. Properly trained ones and licensed can go for $50,000 a piece. So if you're someone who can afford one, fantastic. But they look at people who can't afford them and they help them get them. So it's a really wonderful cause to help people with disabilities get service animals. And I'm really happy to be able to donate every penny I make on this channel to them. So that's what we do here. So that's what Toko's talking about. Okay, so Halo, number 10. All right, number 9 is going to throw a couple of y'all for a loop. And I can't wait until you see it. Let me bring up these links. All right. This is number 9 on my top 10 for 2021.
From the creators of Merc, introducing Crab Game. Jesus Christ. High octane gameplay and more.
When developing Crab Game, we really wanted to make sure with the game, we just wanted to make sure the gameplay was fun and enjoyable, and we had this really good idea. We thought we would base some of the characters on basically children's games and turn into children's games. The price for the winner, so you can take home a couple of $1 million, something like that. So yeah, I think their own idea for a game.
If you're not convinced yet, then just listen to our players think.
I don't know.
Yeah, kind of cringe.
Oh no, it's great. It's great.
Fantastic. 10 out of 10.
Amazing.
Download now.
10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. Number 9 is Crab Game. Listen.
Hey, do you heard this new show?
Oh, shut up. So, Crab Game. What is Crab Game? It is jank beyond jank. It is free to play. It is a 40-player battle royale. It's dumb. It knows it's dumb. That trailer, that was a launch trailer that you just saw. And if the launch trailer's that stupid, how is the game? It's stupid. But man, let me tell you something. And let me update my number, by the way. Just a second. There's Crab Game. Too much water, 7 out of 10. I don't think so. I think it's got the right amount of water. This was... The experience of playing this with friends is so much fun. It doesn't play well. It's got bugs galore. The bugs are features, right? The bugs are features. They said, let's take Squid Game and totally rip off some things from it, but then we'll add in some other stuff, and we'll just make it open chat, which you have to turn off if you're streaming because it is just toxic. It's people just yelling all sorts of horrible things. But if you're not streaming, it can be funny to listen to the open chat, for sure. I played with Heavy one time, and he was like, dude, I'm so glad you have your chat muted because I'm not streaming and I'm listening to this, and it is just people yelling all sorts of obscenities at each other. It's so good. This game is so fun and stupid, and you know, you feel like you won something when you do win. It's not easy to win. I mean, it's up to 40 players, but you can set up private lobbies and play with your friends. I've done in a couple of streams now of this where they're private lobbies, but everyone in it are streaming, so we're in an open chat together because we're streaming. Now, I watched this earlier. This guy is basically like hacking. It must have been an earlier build of the game. Not enough water, 9 out of 10. So, is this game on anyone's list at the end of the year other than mine? I mean, maybe. No, like, legitimate journalists would put this on their top 10. That's not what I am. I'm not legitimate in any way, shape, or form. This game Made me laugh a ton. It was fun to play with friends, and it deserved to be on my list, if only because of those reasons. Now, number 8 has some similarities, and I'll tell you why in just a second. I went and found all these links earlier today so I could make this as smooth as possible. Number 8 on my list.
For every warrior, there comes a time when a moment will decide your fate. As the throng of battle echoes against steel and shield.
What's up, Joe? That's right, Kenobi. It's about the experience. Games are supposed to be fun, right? This game gets that. Hey, I photoshopped a picture of me that looks like that guy. So the thing with Chivalry 2, hey, crab game. The thing with Chivalry 2 is it is only marginal improvements over the first game. And I gotta say, if the game ran better, I think it would have been a little bit higher on my list, but it doesn't quite run all that great. 60 frames a second is a goal, even when you set everything to low. Like I couldn't stream this game anymore. I tried, and it doesn't run very well when I'm streaming, and it's just a little bit of a lack of optimization. Having said that, when I'm not streaming and I get on and play, it's more fun because I'm not struggling with the graphics or the frame rates or anything like that. I just jump in there and start swinging my sword around. And you're right, Toko, throwing your giant broadsword at people is very satisfying. Being able to throw anything in the game is satisfying. You can pick up someone's head and throw it at other people. Throwing little fire pots into a crowd of people and watching them all get on fire, and they're like, "Blah!" as they run away. Hilarious. Some of the dialogue in this game is just super funny. And it's meant to be stupid. There is actual tactics that you can employ. There is strategy. But really, it just is, how satisfying does the combat feel? They didn't tweak much from the first game in terms of the controls and the way things work with a mouse and keyboard. It's very intuitive, actually. And the blood in it is so Monty Python, it's not even funny. So, if you catch this on sale, I would say maybe it's better on consoles. Like, maybe it's more optimized for consoles. I don't know. Toko, you'd have to tell me. I still see your face when I see this poster. I'm glad I burned that into you. Because I did it's one of my photoshops I did of my head on this. I did it because this is one of the first games I gave away on the channel. I did a giveaway earlier this year. A friend of mine over at Tripwire Interactive, someone I used to work with when I worked at Sega, gave me 2 copies of the game. And he said, yeah, give one to a friend. And I said, better yet, can I use this code to give away? And he said, to use it as a giveaway to try to drive attention to my channel for the fundraiser. And he's like, that's a great idea. Do that. Because yes, I could have given a code to a friend. I'm sorry, friends. I used it to try to drive attention to the channel, and it did a great job. We got new followers. Some of them actually do show up on the channel once in a while, believe it or not. So, oh hey Juggernaut, how you doing, man? I'm not sure what else to say about the. Look at that ragdoll. Look at that ragdoll. I don't know what else to say about this game other than it knows exactly what it is. It's not ashamed to be that. Oh, the archer in this is a viable gameplay option. The first game, you couldn't be an archer. In this one, you can headshot people and kill them. It's pretty much 2 body shots to kill someone with an arrow, but if you catch them in the head, it's a one-hit kill. I don't know why the first game didn't really have that as an option, because being an archer in the first game, totally a waste. No one spawned as archers. So, Joe says this is why it's better not to be your friend. Well, you know, it was just, I was thinking of doing some sort of a giveaway, and I just pinged him and said, hey, can't wait to play the game. Hope it does really well for you guys. You know, good luck with it. And he's like, man, I can probably get you a code. And I was like, I mean, if you can get me 2, I'll give one away on my channel. And he was like, okay, cool. So it wasn't like he just gave me 2 codes. The way the conversation worked was more like, if you can get me 1, if you can get me 2. And he was like, yeah, I can get you 2. So could I have given one of those away instead? And said it was a giveaway and given one to a friend? I mean, I could have, but I'm not that guy. All right, we want people to come here and learn about the charity. Oh boy, what do we have here? We've got people coming in and posting URLs. Well, you got timed out. So, usually if a first-time chatter posts a URL, it's usually spam. So, if you are not spammers, feel free to come back and chat. If you are spammers, well, go away. Gotta love Stream Elements, man. Gotta love it. Okay, so this is Chivalry 2. It's my number 8 game of the year. I would have played this on stream more if it ran better on my computer while I was streaming. It does take a lot of CPU, and that is one of the problems. Now, I have updated Windows recently, and it seems to be running some games a little bit better now. Maybe it's worth going back and trying again. I'm not sure. Be gone, peasants. Exactly. All right. So, we're through 8 games. Now, what's number 7? Get these links up in here and ready. All right. Back, peasants, back. All right, number 7. Here we go.
To rebuild paradise.
Paradise.
The cost will be blood.
A revolution is not won by the fearless.
Is won by the feared.
Once again, here we go. Know the name, know the flow.
Billy Project, baby.
I'm setting traps on my lawn. I'm blowing my own fucking mind. Well, you know I'm back with the phone.
Yes, he is, Toko.
Boys in love with you.
That backpack is great, by the way.
You're gonna be a fucking guerrilla legend.
Guerrilla.
Never killed the president before?
What?
Don't die in this town.
Go put that come mierda down.
I won't die in this town.
There's another picture I photoshopped this year of myself. So, Far Cry 6. Let's talk about it. This game is pretty much exactly what you expect at this point. It's, you know, rebel trying to help take over an island or whatever, an island nation in this case. If you're familiar with the Far Cry games, how are you not at this point? I mean, Far Cry 3 is still my favorite in the franchise, even though this one is now, it's dabbling for, it's playing for second, I will say, because Far Cry 4 was my second for a while. This is up there with 4, honestly. The pacing in the campaign is better than 5. 5, I had some issues with the way the campaign structure's played out in terms of there's 3 bosses, mini bosses in areas, and you have to get through them, but each one of them kidnaps you, and there's a hallucination sequence and all that crap. I didn't care about any of that. I did like the Montana setting. Messing with Herc and Herc's dad was hilarious. I've got a lot of fun clips on my channel from that. Back when I still had an ultra wide, and I was playing that with Harry Hare. We streamed that quite a bit. Fun, but the story itself and the campaign wasn't really all that great. Here, the story is okay, but they give you so much more in terms of companions, or what they call amigos in this. Boomer's back, right? My favorite companion. The first one you get in Far Cry 5 is a dog, and you can get him in this one as well. His name is Boom Boom in this one. Same dog. Kenobi. So you're playing it with a friend. See, co-op is probably even better. I'm playing it solo, but the co-op in these games has always been really good. It works really well. They started the co-op in part 4, I believe, because I don't think 3 had co-op. I don't think 3 had multiplayer, which was okay-ish, but not a reason to keep coming back. I think they made the right decision by flipping it over to a co-op focus. So I've been through this part of the game. I've streamed through this part of the game, so I'm just kind of skipping around here. No spoilers. The story's amazing, but the map is huge. The map is big. I would say the map is probably comparable to Far Cry 5. Maybe a tiny bit bigger. I don't think it's as big as Far Cry 4, though. With all the mountains and everything in Far Cry 4, I think it might be a tiny bit bigger. I don't know. This might be the biggest one they've made. I'm not sure yet. And Giancarlo Esposito's in it. He's shown up a few times. He's great. Is he as good as Voss in Part 3? No. But who is? Voss was such a great bad guy. And the fact that he is in Better Call Saul. And now they went and got the Chicken Man from Breaking Bad. I love that. I think that's fantastic. You can't get too much better than Giancarlo Esposito. But in terms of the way the character is written and the way it's performed, I got to give it up to the dude that played Voss in 3. Still my favorite bad guy. One of the best bad guys in any game of the last couple of console generations, for sure. So, the complaints in this game, I will say, when it first launched, I was having a little bit of trouble running it. I couldn't stream it for a while. I had to update Windows, and I had an older version of Windows that was outdated, and it was not playing well with my game. And then the game told me when I booted up into it, it said, you were playing on an older version of Windows. For the best way to play it, update Windows or whatever. And I couldn't get Windows to update. Long story short, I got that fixed. The game runs perfectly fine now. But that's not really the complaint on the game itself. That's a complaint on my computer not updating properly. I guess the other complaint I'm seeing from some of the reviewers, it got a lot of 7s. This is not a 7 out of 10 game. This is like a high 8 out of 10. It is the formula of Far Cry, just continually, just minor tweaks, because they've found the sweet spot with 3, and now it's just subtle improvements and a little bit of batshit crazy with the companions. I mean, you have a crocodile that follows you around and it goes and chomps people when you tell them to. It's ridiculous, right? The game's got a sense of humor, as all of them do, well, from 3 on, but I don't see how calling this more of the same is a bad thing, right? If you like Far Cry, you're going to love this game. Simple as that. It is one of the better ones in the series, and I haven't finished it. I'm maybe a third of the way through the campaign. I have a lot to do. But having said that, I'm pretty confident in putting it on my top 10 list, just from what I've, the 15-ish hours I've played of it already. So I literally have it at 7. 7.0 out of 10, Joe. Don't fuck with me. The game itself, if you were to score it on a scale of 1 to 10, it's higher than 7. Yeah. Keep it up, Joe. Keep it up. Glad you're here, by the way. All right. Hey, let's talk about number 6. Number 6 is something... we're going to get into a couple games that y'all didn't see me stream, because I'm fortunate enough to have a PS5. And the PS5 is for me. It's in a different room. I got a brand new TV that I just play on that. sometimes I just want to game and not think about chat or technical difficulties or installing patches. I just want to sit down in my recliner, no gaming chair, put my feet up in the recliner, have a soda. By soda, I mean usually sparkling waters. I need to get a refill, by the way. And not think about shit and just play and just zone out. Just laser beam in. And my PS5 is great for that. So I don't stream games on PS5 for that very reason. That's a bit of a drawback on something like this because this is a game that I wish more people would see. I'll be right back.
Members of the Resistance.
It's okay. Just me.
We promise nothing nefarious will befall you. We promise.
Dr. Nefarious. This is the part where you lose.
Ratchet, the Dimensionator.
Dr. Nefarious just crowned himself Emperor of this dimension.
We've got to get him and us out of here. But without the Dimensionator...
I think we have to build a new one. The boundaries between the universes are coming undone.
Our time has finally come.
Wow. Another Lombax. Wait, I have to find my friend. Where are you, Clank?
You okay, Bolts?
You came after me.
Pirate mateys, attack!
We didn't follow that Lombax in this robo-pen across dimensions just to get stopped by some fuzzballs.
Give it up for our hero!
Ratchet, we need your help. Nefarious.
Oh! I have sprained my ankle!
So the question I have is, has anyone here played Ratchet and Clank: A Rift Apart? Because it's pretty special. It's something that, I'll be honest, I'm not coming into this game as a huge fanboy of the series. By the time Ratchet and Clank games came out, I was already in college, so I kind of missed out on some of you younger folks who are watching the channel right now who would say, you know, I was playing this when I was in high school or junior high or whatever. And you have these positive memories tied to them. It was the height of the PS2 era. Sly Cooper, Ratchet and Clank, Jak and Daxter, all of those games got played a lot by people. And when I finally got a PS2, I was already out of college. So I was, what was I playing by that point? I don't even remember. Oh, Grand Theft Auto 3. So I hadn't played much of Ratchet and Clank games. I played a couple of them on the Vita, PSP actually, and I played the last one that was the self-titled Ratchet and Clank. It was kind of a remake of the original, and it was meant to tie in. It was on the PS4. It was meant to tie into the movie that came out that year, and it was fun, and the graphics were nice, but it wasn't something that I have this huge connection to. Then I bought this game, based a lot on the reviews saying how beautiful it is and how well it runs, and you know, it's a solid 6-hour campaign that's paced well and just has a lot going for it. You know, fun story, etc. Kind of like you're watching a really good like you're playing a really good Pixar movie. I thought, you know, I'm going to see for myself. Let's try it out. And I played a couple of hours of it. I liked it, and it wasn't really pushing my buttons. I mean, I liked it. I liked the gameplay, but it wasn't like really hitting me. And I'll tell you what, I was missing out on something. And on Black Friday, well, actually Cyber Monday, I found a television on sale, a 4K 120 hertz TV, and it was on $400 off. And the TV I was playing on back in my game room on my PS5 is an old Plasma, 9 years old. Great TV, but it's 1080p. Doesn't get really bright because Plasmas typically don't get that bright. Then I played this on a 4K HDR 120 hertz, because this game has a 120 hertz mode at 40 frames per second. It also has a performance ray tracing mode, so it's like a checkerboarded 1440p at 60 frames, and then there's a fully 4K version that runs at 30 frames. Excuse me. I'm splitting the difference with the 120 hertz mode, HDR turned on at 40 frames a second. This game, even though it's less than 60 frames per second, it is the most beautiful, graphically the most beautiful game I've ever played. And I just fell back in and just kept playing it and kept playing it. It's not that graphics are everything, but when you look at this in 4K 120 hertz and you're playing it, it changes it. It went from a game that I liked to a game that had to be on this list. It is so incredible looking. I don't know how they did it. And it plays really well. Super tight controls. All the difference in the weapons. There's so many different types of weapons. And the ones you get in the start are in the first area are pretty cool. They only get more inventive as you go. Like, they save the better ones for later in the game. So watching this on my stream right now on 720p, a replay on YouTube, you have no idea how great this game looks in person and how bright and colorful it is with HDR on. I cannot recommend it enough if you have a good television and a PS5. But the odds are good, if you have a PS5, you probably have this. Or if not, you should pick it up when it's on sale, because it is a damn fun game. It's a short game, right? Six hours. But there is some replay value, and this is the kind of thing, though, that I'm going to use to show off my TV when people come over. It is truly demo material. So now there are people who are going to say this game deserves to be higher on the list. And by the way, Digital Foundry did a ranking of the best graphics of 2021, and this was their #1 game. So better than Miles Morales. So I still need to play Miles Morales on the new TV. So I can't say it's better than Miles Morales. Just running around and swinging through New York in 4K already sounds like a great idea. I know they added the performance ray tracing mode, which is what I played through a lot of the campaign on. But I do have it installed. I also have Spider-Man PS5, the remaster, installed. I might be booting that up this weekend just to see how it looks. I haven't gone through and done that with other games because I've been so busy with a couple other games. So, but I mean, Miles Morales looked great in 1080p on my Plasma. It looked fantastic. I can imagine it probably looks even better on this new TV. But this game is from the ground up made just for the PS5. You can't run this on a PS4. Where Miles Morales looks great on PS5, fantastic launch window, launch title. It was launch day, but it was also released on the PS4. This was just PS5. The fact that it requires that NVMe SSD, because the way it pulls levels in, there are rifts in time, or rifts in the time-space dimension, whatever, little purple like cracks in the sky in different places. When you get close enough, the triangle comes up on screen. You hit triangle and you grapple hook through it, and it immediately spawns you in a different part of the level, or even in a different world with zero load times. It's mind-blowing, and they are able to pull that off because of the speeds of the new hard drives. And you know, if this was on the Xbox Series X, it could do that as well, because their hard drives are, I want to say, they're just as fast. So it's not like this is just something Sony can do. But this is a Sony developer, so definitely a show title for the PS5, and something that is worth mention on my list. Alright, that's Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, and we are now at 6. So we are getting our way through this list. So we'll scoot this down here a little bit, and we'll get to the next one. Are we really at number 5? We're at number 5. All right, here we go. This is something that you saw on my stream very recently.
Your life. You're gonna show it to me. I want to see exactly what made you so absolutely great. If you understand what I'm saying, blink over my hand here. Just think back.
Look at that
to
sun.
the very beginning. The first thing that you can remember. Every time you blink, you're going to jump forward in time. Could be a second.
Ooh, that's good.
Could be 5 years.
But that's enough for me.
We have to make him do this every birthday.
That's a great idea.
I don't know what I'd do without old Benny. It's Chloe, your neighbor.
But understand,
I love it.
no matter how much you like it, you're not going to be able to stay, all right?
With your mother gone, I'm hoping to finally live without all the clutter.
It's over.
What's going on with Benjamin Brent?
You're ashamed of something. Something so terrible, you're trying to blink right past it.
Close your eyes, Ben.
So I'm going to ask you again. Well, no matter how painful it gets, I'm going to send you there to start from the very beginning. I need you to remember. And just try to enjoy it this time.
So this game was something where you might have stay there. This is something I streamed once. It's a 90-minute campaign. It's not really a game. It's an interactive movie, pretty much, an interactive experience, because it is very immersive. It takes your webcam and it reads your face, and it recognizes when you blink. And when you blink, whenever there's a little metronome on screen, when it shows you the eyeball like that, and when you blink, it moves the story forward. There's the metronome. When that is up on, you can't see it because my list is in the way. There's a metronome on screen that when that's on screen, you're trying not to blink because you want to be in the moment and hear what they're saying from what the dialogue is. And then you blink, and it recognizes that you blinked, and it moves the story forward. Now you can play without the webcam. You can it'll switch it to where you click the mouse, and it will move the story forward. I couldn't get my camera to recognize me blinking because I was streaming. And I tried tweaking the settings a little bit. I ended up going back and grabbing the webcam off of my work computer. I have one set up on top of my monitor for my work video calls. So I pulled that out, plugged this in, told it which camera, and it worked. Now I will say the tech wasn't perfect. There were definitely times when I didn't blink and the game thought I blinked. When I realized that, I started holding my eyes open a lot, like exaggerating them open. And it's a little distracting. Having said that, this game, this interactive story was something special, and I got really choked up and cried at the end. And it is that type of game. It is that type of an experience, and not in a we're trying to play, we're trying to manipulate your emotions. It earned the emotion that it got. It did. I'm not going to say any more than that. This is something that's not super expensive. I bought this like 6 months ago. I read a review of it and I thought, well, that's an interesting concept. And it was like $9.99. I went, you know what, for $10 I'll buy it and I'll stream it sometime. I know it's a short experience, but I like the concept. Small team that made it. Let's give it a try. And it sat there for months on my hard drive. Finally, I realized I need to play this. And I'm going to take a night and play this. I'll play Valorant later. I need to focus on playing this game and seeing what it's about. And I did. And by the way, for anyone who is in this channel and also watches DT Fishboat, Fishboat apparently streamed this when it first came out. And the meme that he has about, if I don't do blank, my son will die, it's related to this. And he thought that if you blink, someone dies in the game. And that was a running joke, and it still is on his channel, so really funny stuff. Again, 90 minutes, interactive experience, not really a game. Don't let that dissuade you. Give it a look. It is a fantastic experience, and one of the better story-driven experience type games I've ever played. It's up there with the first season of The Walking Dead. It's very high up there with it. Not quite, but close. All right, that was number 5. How are we doing on this cheat sheet? There it is. All right, it's kind of blocking the way a little bit, so I'll probably leave it off screen, off and on here. I don't want it to be in the way. Can I put it over here? Can I block myself with it? Yeah, there's no real good place to put it here with this setup, so we'll just do this and then I'll hide it for a little bit. But I'm going to populate in just a minute, so we'll turn that off. All right, this is number 4. We're getting down there now. This is one I've streamed a couple times. And you're going to see immediately, you're going to see it and you're going to know. Because it's unmistakable.
Come in to me, show us the way. I'm caught between the wisdom parts of the unknown. Adored between two worlds, a sight to see. It feels like everything is moving feels like it is moving in
So this is Sable. Sable is available on the Xbox One, Xbox Series X, and PC. And I played it on PC. Because I don't have an Xbox Series X, and my Xbox One is boxed up right now. Because everything that comes out pretty much on Xbox now comes out on PC as well. So this game is gorgeous. The art style in this is unbelievable. I mean, just look at it. Wholly unique in the way it looks. The lighting and the day-night cycle is fantastic as well. You walk outside and all of a sudden the light changes. The day-night cycle is kind of quick when it changes, so it's very drastic. It's not a subtle thing. Very basic story, just It's a coming-of-age story about a woman who's leaving her camp, and everyone who comes of age has to go on a quest that's called the Gliding. And it's basically you're expected to go on a quest to find yourself, and you can't come home until you've made some decision. I don't want to say any more than that. I don't want to spoil it. But the game was made by two people, right? The writer of the dialogue is a third person, so in terms of the actual number of people, it's more like 3. And they did work closely with Japanese Breakfast, who is a group that made the soundtrack. So they didn't sing the music. So I guess if you want to say 5 people, because like Japanese Breakfast is 2 people. So, but in terms of all the gameplay, the graphics, the art style, everything, it's 2 people that did this. It's two people in the UK. Stunning. The fact that they were able to make something that looks this beautiful. And this was up pretty high at the Game Awards. I know it did get some award there at the Game Awards. I don't remember which one, if it was just best art style or something like that. I didn't watch all of the Game Awards. I just saw bits and pieces. But I got this on sale a couple months ago, and I've streamed it a couple of times. I'm only about 5 hours, 6 hours in. So it's like a 12-hour game, so I'm like halfway through, but I'm going to finish this on stream. The biggest complaint I have, and it's based around the fact that it's 2 people that made it, is it's not very well optimized. It definitely has performance issues on PC. The longer I play it, the more the frame rate has dips. So it's not something I can just play for 10 hours of a stretch. It seems to become more of a problem as the game goes on, as I'm playing it longer. Maybe that's my perception. Maybe it's not that way, but this is something I'm going to play, and I may not stream the rest of it. I might just play it all myself off stream. I don't know, because that might have been part of the problem. So this isn't early in the game when you get the gliding ability. That's why they call this journey that you're on the gliding, because she's unlocked an ability to be able to glide around. It's something she didn't know about until she got here, so it's pretty cool. This is early in the game. This is only like in the first half hour. There's no combat in this game. 0. Absolutely no combat. There are a couple of areas that you get to that are a little, I don't want to say scary, but you have to use kind of puzzle solving aspects to get through them, and there's plenty of exploration, as you can see in the game. The way that things are laid out in the levels is pretty cool, but it's not a combat game. So take the exploration of something like Breath of the Wild. They're clearly inspired by Breath of the Wild, partially in the looks, but also in the fact that you can climb anything. You just have a grip meter that starts to eat away. But as a completely 90-degree face, cliff face, you can climb it as long as you have enough stamina. So now there's things you can do to get more stamina. But here's the other thing. You start off, once you start your quest, you get a hover bike. Now you have to go into the game in the start and help build the hover bike, but once you get it, it's a really fun way to traverse the environment, as you're going to see here. So I've made a couple of tweaks to my hover bike, painted colors. Some of the people you talk to will send you on little side missions, and you get things like paint that you can use to paint different colors, to paint your bike different colors and swap out different parts and things. So a little bit of customization. Some of that does control how it handles, but not a lot. Not in the first few hours for sure. But just look at this. Just look at it. It is so beautiful. And just going around and exploring, climbing up stuff, I got lost. My second stream I did this. I got lost for like an hour, and I didn't give a shit. I was just enjoying being lost in this world. So it's a fantastic game. It's something I want more people to know about, and I think if you're playing it on console, you might have a better experience, because I think it might have been started as a console game. I'm not sure. I need to check that, so I should probably watch what I'm saying. So there. Sable's number 4. We have 3 games left. Let's get into it. Let's keep it moving. All right, number 3. Ooh. This one was early in the year, but I streamed the entire game. What could it be? That's right. Toko, Valorant's number 2, Warzone number 1. Diana. Barcode boy. I really like that trailer a lot. Love the music, love the way it's edited. Such a great trailer. Yes, we're talking about Hitman 3. And let me tell you something. This is the best of the 3 of this new trilogy for sure. It is... It's the most consistent campaign. The level design... It's the most consistent of the 3. There are levels in 1 and 2 that are fantastic. I would argue the Formula 1 level in Part 2 that takes place in Florida is phenomenal, and that might be the best in the series. And my favorite overall probably still is the birthday party level from Blood Money, which is before this trilogy. That is still one of my all-time favorite Hitman games. Having said that, these 3 play better than any of the earlier Hitman games, and the choices you have in this are wider because they can do so much more with games now, and with memory and being able to put way more objects that you can mess with and use to murder people. You have to have some patience to play any Hitman game. There's repetition. No, that's not the right word. There's trial and error. But if you're a fan of stealth action games like Splinter Cell or the Metal Gear Solid series, like maybe the more old school feeling Metal Gear Solid games, and you haven't played the Hitman games, what's wrong with you? You got to get on this. They're so good. Like, this level takes place in China. You can walk into this karaoke bar and you can see that ball is lit up when you go into your Hitman mode. You can basically catch one of your targets. If you follow them around, there's a way to get them to go to karaoke. And then you can rig that ball to explode and fall on someone and kill them. Like, the level of possibility in these games has only increased over the years, and this is the most variable in the entire of these 3 in this trilogy. My favorite level in this one takes place in a huge mansion out in the middle of England, and it is very inspired by Knives Out. And you can, if you choose, you can just run in there and shoot people and get out. Or you could there's a way for you to dress as a detective, and you can try to solve a murder by talking to a bunch of people and figure out who done it as you're about to kill someone else. It is so meta, and the level layout in the mansion is awesome. I loved it. It is so well done. The problem with these games is really people who don't know about them, or people who have tried them before and go, oh, that's not for me. I can see where it's not for everyone because there is some trial and error. But man, if you like stealth games and you haven't tried this yet, what is wrong with you? You gotta make it happen. Class is pretty heavy. Alright, so there's the list. Tilko, I'm going to say this. Number 2, because we're at number 2. Number 2 is also a game that I've streamed the entire campaign on this channel. So if that gives it away, the last 2 are COD. Yeah, exactly. Of course they are. I'm trying to run all this. All right. Here we are, number 2. Really? Oh, hell no. Hell no. We'll just skip right to this, because the trailer's not going to let me play. You got it, Toko. You got it. Let me tell you something. The Resident Evil series is one that I have a like-love relationship with. Okay? I like all of them to varying degrees. Even Part 7, which I only played a couple of hours of, I respect that game a lot more than I enjoyed it. But I've heard after the first couple of hours it does open up and it becomes more of a traditional Resident Evil game. I have it installed, and it will be a channel goal for something at some point in the near future that I will stream Resident Evil 7. But man, Resident Evil 8, or as it's called, Resident Evil Village. It's fun to watch people play it. It's fun to play it. The story was consistently good throughout. The mini boss characters. I'm gonna turn it down a little bit. The mini boss characters in this were great. Everyone knows about the 8-foot-tall vampire lady, right? Lady Dimitrescu. Her voice actress, whatever. She was perfect in the role. And what's funny is I think she's actually 6 feet something in real life, so it's kind of funny because I think they did use her for some. Because I don't think she just did the voice. I think she did the likeness, or not so much the likeness, but she did the mocap. But there's other like side boss type characters. I don't want to get into it too much, but each one of those characters has a specific area in this town that you go to, and you have to experience things. You've got to solve little light puzzles to get out. But first of all, the way the game looks, holy shit, this game looks fantastic. It runs great. I will say, at launch on PC, this character is a sister of Lady Dimitrescu. There's 2 others too. When they spawn on PC, the game slowed down the frame rate. It was a glitch. They patched it after I finished the game, so now there's no lag when all the flies spawn in to make them. Just the final. This is like a boss battle, a mini boss battle. There she is. She wore a hat as part of the mocap. Her boob actress was also perfect. Come on now, behave, y'all. I mean, just look at the lighting, the graphics. It's so well made. It's beautiful. It's gothic looking. I mean, say what you want about it. This is now my second favorite. I'm gonna skip past this so I don't want any spoilers for anybody. This is now my second favorite Resident Evil game of all time. Part 4, of course, is my number 1. And I started a replay of Part 4 on the channel. And I've put it on pause, partially because I'm wondering if we're not going to get some word about a remake that's coming. This is my guessing, okay? Because full disclosure, I have a friend at Capcom, and my friend hooked me up with a copy of this game for free on PC. Nothing to do with my thoughts on the game. If I paid $60 for it, I would have been happy. I would have gotten my money's worth out of it for sure. It's like a 12 or 14 hour campaign. There's a lot going on in it, but it's not too long. I will say if there's one knock against Resident Evil 4, it's over 20 hours long. And it does drag a tiny bit in a couple of spots. But that game is still incredible. And if they remake that, I swear I'm done pre-ordering games, but the last 2 remakes of Resident Evil, 2 and 3, were fantastic. Really well done, tasteful, and updated modern day remakes of classic games. If they are using that same engine, I'll probably pre-order it. I hate to say it. Because I always say I'm not going to pre-order. But that seems like that would be a sure thing. Alright, maybe I won't pre-order, maybe I'll wait, but trust me. Whatever engine they're using, this had a good amount of jump scares. It was violent. There's a couple of laughs here and there, but it definitely plays it straight for most of it. And I will say, by the end, it's a little maybe too run and gun, but all the Resident Evil games do that. It's kind of like we have to have the big Hollywood ending, the big roller coaster finish. It's not the worst ending I've seen in a Resident Evil game, not by a stretch. But I don't know how they would have ended it any better. But there's some twists. So this game is fantastic. I loved it, and if I went back and played it again, I wouldn't be mad. I mean, just look at it. Some of the skyboxes and stuff in this are so fantastic. So Resident Evil Village is my number 2 game of the year. There's only one left, so we'll put that list up on the screen right now. I think y'all know my number 1. And by y'all, I mean anyone who's been in my Discord or maybe looked at my Twitter account recently. Because I have been chattering about it off and on for the last 7 or 8 months. And here's the thing. This game is a perfect example of having decent expectations and then having them blown completely out of the water. This is my number 1 game of the year.
Time is like a tide. It pulls us. And shapes us. Uncovers our secrets. Hidden deep below the surface. With each rush upon us, it leaves a fresh scar behind. No matter how hard we fight, we can never stop it. We alone must find meaning amidst the flow. Creating our own fate. Finding our own answers. For when all is lost, the tide remains.
Returnal.
PlayStation.
Returnal is my number 1 game of 2021. We're going to skip around a little bit in this gameplay video as I'm talking about it. but I am going to bring up something so I can read. I took a bunch of notes about this because I've got a blog post that's going to go live tomorrow with all of this. But this is my premiering the list to y'all, but I did write something for Medium, and I'm going to post it in the morning. So let me find that, and I'm just going to kind of make sure that I don't forget to talk about some specific things. So I'm pulling that up right now. This is a roguelike bullet hell shooter. Now, if that tells you anything, I'm not sure because maybe you don't know what that means. Roguelike means you're going to die, and you're going to die over and over again. It's what's going to happen. But as you come back to life, you're going to have learned things about enemy patterns. You're going to have unlocked some things that can be carried over into other playthroughs. Some items that once you unlock them, there's a chance they'll show up in another run. The weapons you get, you will be able to get a certain amount of kills with them, and it will unlock different passive features. Some of them have heat-seeking abilities. Some of them have alternate fire. But you're going to die a lot. And look, y'all know me, or you've probably seen stuff with me streaming back in the day. Dark Souls, not my kind of game. I've played 40 hours of the first one, but it took me being carried by chat to get that far. Robin, you are off topic. Not that I know of. I'm not crazy about the Dark Souls games. I get why people like them. And I'm not even that crazy about I'm not even that crazy about bullet hell shooters. In fact, I like bullet hell shooters probably even less. It's never been my jam. Something about this game clicked with me, and I got to the third level of the game. I got to the third boss, and I struggled. And it took me a while to figure that out. You're an astronaut. You crash land on this planet. You're trying to survive, and you're trying to figure out what's going on with this planet. You can see that there was an alien race that lived here. All these statues and these obelisks and things that are made by alien technology. But the aliens are all gone, and all that's left are these like demonic protector creatures that are attacking you. When you die, you wake up. You have visions of your life on Earth, and I'd say each time it's a different vision, but you're going to play this enough to where you'll start seeing the same ones over and over again. So you're in a death loop. This game takes that and puts it into the story in terms of why she's continuing to relive things over and over again. And not until you finish the game, until you get the secret ending that came after 50 hours of playing this, do you finally really start to understand what's happening. You don't have to pay attention to the story. You don't. You can just run around and try to beat the bosses, and that's great. But this game, I'm telling you, Housemarque hit a grand slam home run with it. They've made a couple of shooters before, like 2D bullet hell shooters. They made Resogun, which was a really high-reviewed game that came out on the PS4 at launch. This came out 6 months after launch, so I guess you can call it launch window. It's exclusive to PS5. I'm telling you, I don't think they could have put this on the PS4. I don't. I think if they would have, it would have looked much less impressive, and it would have struggled to run at 60 frames. And this thing runs at 60 frames buttery smooth. Just silky smooth. I'm going to skip ahead a little bit in the gameplay and get to the second area. So you can see what the variety in some of the in the worlds, what they call biomes, what the biomes and the variety looks like in these. This is the second biome. So you have to beat the first boss to be able to unlock the ability to get to this next world. Things are open. It still has that map. You can see the map in the bottom right corner, but it's much more open. It's totally different. It's like a red desert. The graphics in this are gorgeous. The gameplay is so incredibly tight. And the PS5 controller specifically works with this game in a way that a lot of other games don't, because every weapon has an alternate fire, and it has a recharge because it has a cooldown. So when you half hold the left trigger, it zooms in on the ADS. When you full pull the trigger, it's tighter because the haptics in the trigger get tighter. When you do that, there's like a glow around the weapon. It goes, and your controller makes the noise like, and it's telling you it's about to do the alt fire. If your alternate fire hasn't recharged yet, it goes, it makes a different like a fail noise to let you know. But when you are capable of doing the alternate fire again, your controller goes like it makes a little noise. So it gives you audio cues as you're playing. But you hold that all the way down and then you pop it and you can hit these alternate fire. And every weapon has different types of alternate fires. Even the same weapons you get have multiple versions of it. And you can level those up to do more damage depending on how many kills you get with them. If you hit all of these different things to be able to unlock different. I'm rambling now. I played this for about 15 hours and I got to the third boss. Now, I don't want to spoil anything. There are 6 biomes in this world. Kind of. I can't say anything more than that. I want y'all to know, I wish everyone would try this game because I don't like ultra hard games. I don't like bullet hells all that much. And I've only really loved one other roguelike, and that would be Binding of Isaac. I still would say my favorite roguelike of all time is Binding of Isaac, but this I think is the best roguelike that's out there. And some people are going to say there's others that are better. Some people would say I mean, what are some of the other roguelikes that are out there that people love? You can make all sorts of arguments, and that's fine. I'm not going to disagree with you. I just think this game kept me playing it for 50 hours, and right now I could go and pick up my controller and try to platinum this. It's probably going to take me another 15 or 20 hours to platinum it. I would go do it. And I'm considering doing it. And I only have 4 platinums from the PS4 and PS5 total. I have 4. I might actually still make this my 5th. It just depends on what else comes out in the next few months. Have I tried Jupiter Hell? I have not. I don't know what that is. I wish this was on PC. I wish my PC friends could see it and could play it, because I have friends who would love this game. The fact that it's only on PS5 would be okay if people could easily get a PS5, and right now they can't. So I'm not trying to flex on y'all by making this my number 1. I'm not. I legitimately, this is the best game I played this year. And in fact, I don't want to say that there's not a close second, but Resident Evil Village is a great experience. And when it was over, and it was like a popcorn movie. And I loved it for the time that I played it. This game has stuck with me in ways that I can't even really explain. You have to play it. You have to kind of figure out the story to understand. And there's multiple ways to interpret the story, by the way. My interpretation may not be the same as some other people's of what actually happens. It's a little vague at the end, but you do get enough information to where you can make a couple of judgment calls on what actually happened. So I want to talk with people about this. I want to talk to people who finished it, and I'm kind of stuck going to Reddit. And all the posts on Reddit are people who are grinding for the platinum. It's a roguelike. I don't typically like roguelikes, but I do like Jupiter Hell. Okay, I'm going to have to try to remember that, because I want to know. I want to look into this game. I'll do that here in a little bit, because one thing, we're not done yet. We're going to talk about one more category, and it is my most anticipated games of 2022, and that's where I want y'all to jump in. I want y'all to jump in here as well, but for sure, I want to talk about the games that I'm most looking forward to next year, because we're almost there. We're just a day away from 2022. Can you believe that shit? Yeah, this, and let me just get to a boss battle. Oh, they died. You died. Oh, by the way, when you beat the boss in the first level, you can skip over most of that first level after you die to skip to the second level or the third level. You can skip from the first right to the third after you beat the second boss. So you don't have to grind every single boss every time. In fact, when I went and got the secret ending in the game, there's really only one boss battle you have to do. So I thought that was considerate of them, even though the boss battles are awesome and they look fantastic. This game made me feel frustrated at times, but it was never the game's fault. It was always my fault. What I fucked up, I made a bad decision. I didn't reload properly. All right, you can do overloads, or it's like active reloads in that's one of the mini bosses. It's an active reload like in Gears of War, where there's a mini boss that's that guy. Sorry, I just spoiled it. So when you are reloading, it gives you a little bar. It's right below your cursor, and when you tap it in the yellow, it will give you a more powerful version, so the next round of ammo does more damage. Cogs of Gears. The dash in this feels great, the way you see that she's dashing around. You have a melee blade that feels fantastic, and you can pay, later on in the game, you can get an upgrade, you can buy it, or sometimes you'll find it for free, that does twice the damage. But then there's these parasites you pick up too. You can choose to pick up a parasite, and a parasite is something that you wear on your body somewhere. She's not wearing one right now, but parasites will give you one bump in stats, and it will give you a bad as well. And it's this constant risk and reward. This game is nothing but risk and reward. And should I take that parasite? It's going to give me more health, but it's going to make it to where my melee cooldown is 3 seconds longer, because you can't just run around and slash everything. There's a cooldown on the melee. Like, there's all these parasites in the game, and you can have up to 5 of them on you at once. So it's this risk-reward thing. The reason I beat the game, the main time I beat the game, was because I took a parasite that gave me a bad effect, but the good effect it gave me helped my suit reheal. Once I got below 10% integrity, they call it, or health, it starts to reheal up to 20%, slowly. My last boss battle, I was out of health packs. There's one thing you can get that will respawn you when you die. I was out of both of those. My health got to where it gave me the noise that tells you one more hit's gonna kill you, and I'm like, I start focusing less on shooting and more on dodging. So I'm like dodging all the bullets, letting my suit slowly regain the health. And I picked this parasite up right near the entrance to the last boss battle. And when I beat that boss, I beat him on the first try, I fucking screamed so loud. It was amazing. Yeah, this game, I want more people to play it, especially people who like bullet hells and people who like roguelikes, but especially people who like stuff like Dark Souls, because this game it's ridiculously hard at times, but you will get better as you play it. You don't have to do a ton of research into any lore or anything like that. You just play it, and you get better as you go, and next thing you know, you're going to make progress. I want to show you a boss, see if this person gets to a boss battle. Oh, yep. They're going to get there. That's not it. Come on, tell me you got to a boss. I'm not a real gamer. Well, PS5s are hard to get. Oh, there's the boss. This is the second boss. Here, I'll turn this on so you can see a little bit of it. This boss was tough. This boss took me a few tries.
Encountered airborne fauna. What is growing out of it?
I mean, look at that. Oh, adrenaline. So you also have adrenaline. When you take a hit, your adrenaline resets to 0. But you can get up to level 5 adrenaline. So it's keeping combos alive. Not a time rush, just killing enemies without dying. When your adrenaline gets to certain levels, certain things happen that help you. Adrenaline level 2 means you get enhanced vision. So enemies will be highlighted red, even when they're like behind walls or things. You can see a little red floating marker. all the way up to level 5, which is the max, where you get 50% more obolites. Obolites are these little gold things that fall on the ground. That's the currency in the game that you can use at shops. There are shops. I can just sit here and talk about this game for hours. I love it. It's beautiful to look at. It's beautiful to play. The controls are so crispy. So crispy. And it's a super hard game. But is it ever rewarding? And I wish everyone could play this, because it is just as good. By the way, this also was on Digital Foundry's list of best graphics. It doesn't really run at 4K, but it is a locked 60 frames per second for like 99% of the game. It's pretty outstanding. So that is Returnal. That is my #1 game of the year. But before, we're not done yet. We're not done yet. There's the list right there. I want to chat real quick with y'all, and then we're going to be done. I want to talk about some games I'm looking forward to in 2022, and this is where I would love your input. I've got a few games that I'm really looking forward to. I'm just going to kind of skip through them quick because it's already 11:20. Holy shit, I talk a lot, don't I?
Sometimes I wonder what this city looked like before all this.
Dying Light.
Probably like many others. People had their ambitions, plans, lives. Now it's all gone.
The first Dying Light was an awesome game.
But it was the people who made the world the way it is. This city.
It took what the developers learned at Techland, what they learned about making the oh god, what were those games? Dead. The first one takes place in an island. Dead Island? Dead Island. I got there eventually. They made Dead Island and Dead Island Riptide.
War broke out.
Then they skipped over to make Dying Light, and this game is head and shoulders above any of the Dead Island games. Dying Light is fan-frickin-tastic. The parkour feels great. The graphics are good. The level design in the world is open world. It's fantastic. Way better, seriously way better than any of the Dead Island games. The Dead Island games were good for their time, but they didn't age as well. Look at this. Look at this. This looks like a huge leap over the first one, graphically as well as from a gameplay perspective. There's so much more they give you. Still got the parkour.
I have to pick a side. The bazaar needs
all sorts of crazy shit, but the story apparently is very open-ended in terms of if you work for certain people, helping other groups, etc., and it changes the way the game plays out. So there's going to be a lot more replayability in it. But they just took just the first game alone was fantastic in how don't do it.
They say that great change is a series of small gestures.
The first game,
how about this?
Just being able to go run around in that open world with your friends was awesome. This is going to take that to a whole nother level. Dude, he jumped off that guy's head. How great is that? Dying Light 2 comes out in 2022. They've picked a date. I don't remember the date. This may not have it. Let's see. Pre-order. February 4th. So that's not that far away, folks. That's not that far away. Dying Light 2, can't wait. Here's another one. Now, I don't know if this is coming out in 2022. It was supposed to be 2021. Oh, god damn it. Really? Are we going to do this with every one of these? There we go. The last God of War game was my favorite game of the year. It was one of my top 10 favorite games
60% of the time
of the last
it
decade.
Works every time.
Thank you, Robin. The fact that this is made natively for PS5, I almost think they're waiting. Like they're going to need time to make sure the polish is there. But dude, by the way, God of War from 2016 is coming to PC in January. If you didn't play it, you don't need to have played the earlier games. It helps. There's a couple of little in-jokes and references you wouldn't get. But this...
answers.
I'm so ready for this.
Those answers lead to war with Asgard.
Maybe that's what Mother wanted.
We do not know what Mother wanted.
Well, I recognize that dour expression anywhere.
Yeah. Give me this game and give it to me now. Give it to me. Give it to me. So they haven't picked a date yet, but God of War Ragnarok is coming hopefully this year in 2022. I'm really hoping. This next one is also PS5. And it's Horizon Forbidden West. Now, I didn't play more than about 10 hours of the last one. I was burned out on open world games, so the timing was not ideal for me. I still have it. I think they've patched it to run it at 60 frames on PS5. I'm not sure. I have the disc version. It's also out on PC, and it was a rough port at first, but I know that they've done a lot to fix that port because they know they need to. I mean, Sony's going to invest the money, right? I mean, they want to expand their reach on these. Ultimately, they figure if people are playing on PC a game that came out a few years ago, and then there's a sequel that's a really high quality sequel, that maybe some of these people who wouldn't normally buy a PS5, now they're going to be interested and they're going to want to buy a PS5 to play the new God of War because they played the last one on PC. Maybe they don't want to wait for PC, they just want to play it. This might be a game like that as well because Horizon Zero Dawn came out on PC a year ago? So who knows? All I know is
I must find a way to stop it.
I'm excited to play this, even though I didn't play as much of the last one. I think from an open world game perspective, I'll be ready. And this is coming, I want to say, in February. Maybe that's what I should be doing with my time for the next couple months, is playing the first one. Like I said, I got like 10 hours into the first one.
There's nothing I wouldn't do to save this world.
Look at those
Depths
graphics.
I won't explore.
So this one's in San Francisco. There you
No
go.
secret I won't unlock.
They were really coy about where the first one took place, although you figure it out. But in the marketing, they were coy with it.
No barrier I won't
Now
cross.
they figure everybody knows that it is a primitive future, basically.
This mission is mine alone. If
I mean,
I
if this
falter,
is
if
basically
I
like an open world Uncharted,
there won't be anyone left to stop.
look at that! Gorgeous! I can't wait to play this, actually. I'm really excited. He's done mocap for a few games, hasn't he? Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna boot up Zero Dawn on my PS4, on my PS5, and play it this weekend. I've decided. I'm not gonna try to platinum Returnal. I'm in a good place with Returnal for now. It's staying installed. Guerrilla brings it, man. The Killzone games are really good. They're graphical powerhouse. That last one, holy shit. Well, the one on PS4, the launch era one, still looks good today. Here's the next. Oh wait, no, I copied the wrong one. I have a few more, so stick with me. This. No, what are you doing? That's not what I did. This game is coming soon. Sifu. Everything I've heard about the combat in this, by the way, that hallway is very old boy. Everything I've heard about this is the way the combat flows in it is extremely satisfying. I haven't played anything of this, but it sure does look awesome. And I don't know if there's no HUD in this either, or how you see how much health you have, but the way that the character models respond when they're hit or when they do the punching, pretty neat. I'm almost intentionally trying not to learn a lot about this game because when I read a little bit about it earlier this year, I just said, that's a game I want. So we're going to wait and see how the reviews come out. But... oh, this is 3 PS5 games in a row, I guess. I just realized that. Sorry. Oh, it's also PS4. So there you go. Also available on PS4. Keep that in mind for those of you who have a PS4. 4 left. So this one, this is going to be on next-gen consoles and PC. I will probably play it on PC, but I'm not sure. And it's called Stalker 2, Heart of Chernobyl. This is kind of a long trailer, so I'm not going to play the whole thing, but... this game is based loosely on the world that was in a Russian novel in the 60s called Roadside Picnic. That was loosely based, loosely translated into a movie called Stalker that was made by Andrei Tarkovsky. And this is the sequel, which the first game came out a long time ago. It wasn't a graphical powerhouse, but it allowed you to do things that no other shooter RPG hybrid had ever done before. And Joe, you're right. The devs either got talked into trying it, or they thought, we'll dip our toe in the water, and the response was so negative about the potential NFT stuff. 24 hours later, or even less than 24 hours later, they rescinded. They said, you know what, you're right. We don't want to distract away from the core thing of the game, and it seems like y'all are telling us something and we should listen. So, there will be no NFTs tied to this game. That drama is over. Oh, you know more about this than I do, Joe. That's cool. Basically, the book Roadside Picnic and the movie Stalker is the conceit is that some alien presence landed somewhere in Russia and was there for no one knows how long. Could have been a matter of seconds. But when they left, this area is called the Zone, and the air around everything about it is a little off. The physics is off. It's like they left. It's almost like they had a roadside picnic and they left, and all their trash was laying around. Except there's this presence in the air, and stalkers are people who know the zone really well. They've gone into it multiple times, and they go in to try to get items that are in here. So even Escape from Tarkov, in terms of the looting in that, there's no weird physics or anything. So when you saw him in this game checking his little meter and he threw a screw, that's from the movie Stalker completely. So these are inspired by the movie, both of these games, and these came before Metro. Well, the games came before Metro, the first game, and then there's a DLC that came out. You can still play Stalker 1 on PC. There's a group of mods that help. It's called Stalker Complete, that patches a bunch of bugs, because the developers walked away from the game a long time ago, but the community is voracious about these games. So, I enjoyed the first Stalker game, but I only played enough to basically know that my PC couldn't run it. And I tried to go back to it at one point, and I installed all the mods and stuff, and it's clunky. It's kind of like trying to play Morrowind now. Like, your memory of Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind is better than the game that you were to try to run right now. So, this is a long trailer, but I am really stoked about that. I'm also really stoked, speaking of the Elder Scrolls. This is a game that they're saying is coming out in 2022 from Bethesda, and it's called Starfield. Now, there's no gameplay footage of this yet. We have not seen any gameplay. This is just an in-game engine. The fact that this is going to be an open space RPG? Come on. Of course, there'll be bugs. Some of them will be funny. And that's okay. But of all the games on my list, this will probably be... This has the most potential to be the game that I play the longest.
The wonder is, not that the
I think
field
God of War
stars
Ragnarok is
is
probably going to
so
be my favorite out of all of them.
but that we have
But
measured
this is probably one that I will spend more time with than anything else. Because when you finish God of War, 20 hours, long campaign in the last one. This could be hundreds of hours.
It's the key to unlocking.
It's Bethesda, of course there'll be bugs. Of course there'll be bugs, but will there be...
This is all we've been working towards.
Game breaking, right? Don't cyberpunk
We've come
me.
to the beginning of humanity's final journey.
Prepare for departure. Graviton loop array full of check.
But you're in for this, right, Joe? I mean, for as much as you love the Bethesda RPGs, you're down for this game, right? I didn't say pre-order, but I think this is one that if the reviews are good, I'm definitely picking it up day one. And it will be November 11th, so they confirmed the date. I forgot about that because it was in the trailer. I might sign up for Game Pass when this comes out, and by this time, Game Pass will be cheap. Will be more expensive. It won't be as cheap as it is now. It'll probably be like $10 a month or something like that. But oh man, please be good. Please be good. You'll pre-order, man. I'm trying really hard not to. This is my next to last one. This is a PS4/PS5 game. It's a little different. Or is it only PS5? It's only PS5. It's called Stray. It is a puzzle / well, it's an exploration game with some light puzzle aspects, but you're playing as a cat. And they showed this during E3, during their State of Play during E3, and it got a really great response. A lot of robots in this future, but you're a cat that's trying to find its way around stuff. Pretty cool. Oh, by the way, I should say, all these games are in alphabetical order. I'm not showing them in any specific order of what I'm anticipating or anything like that. So there's one left, and it's not my most anticipated game, but I'm interested in that. I want to see what they do with that. It did not come out in 2021. It will be 2022, but it sounds like it will definitely be. It will be PS4. Hey, see, Toko? Toko, you can play that too. All right. And maybe you'll have a PS5 by the time this comes out. This is the last one. And it's a little weird that I'm putting this on here, considering what I said about Forza Horizon 5. But this game helped inspire Forza Horizon 5. And it is Test Drive Unlimited. This is the third in the Unlimited series. The first Test Drive Unlimited, I put probably 100 hours into. I loved it. Loved it, loved it, loved it. Now, is it going to be as good as Forza Horizon 5? No. No way in hell. But will the setting be realistic? Because what Forza Horizon does is it takes a setting and it kind of plays with it a little bit, makes a tighter, smaller version of it. Much smaller. Test Drive Unlimited 1 came out on the Xbox 360. And it was the entire island of Oahu. Road perfect. Right? The houses and stuff A lot of them were just, whatever, computer generated, but they had the University of Hawaii football stadium exactly where it is, and you could pull back on the map, and it was like Google Maps. And if you've driven on a road before, it was lit up like green as opposed to gray, and you could warp to that spot on the map, and it would just go, and it would drop you in, and it was fucking great. It was so ahead of its time. There was some kind of like role playing in it, where like, and the second one did more of that. And honestly, the second one was so buggy, it was worse than the first one. But this one takes place in Hong Kong Island, and it is supposedly accurately modeled up to, however level of detail they can do. September 22nd, 2022. To me, being able to drive around in a Hong Kong Island and do races and stuff, I'm interested in that for sure. That is something that I'm pretty excited. Joe, I'm just talking, man. I don't even know what I'm saying. It's in the game. If you've driven on a road in the game, it lights it up green on the map, and then you can warp to it. If you haven't driven on it yet, you can't warp to it. Okay? Get me? In the game. I know you fucking drove on a road before. I know this. Alright, so one more time, and let me turn off my display capture. You can just put that up there. One more time, let's show the top 10 list. Let's go, just kind of talk about it real quick. Bam, there it is. Put it right there. It's in my way. I'm in the way. Let's move me. Okay, there's the list. Halo Infinite's multiplayer was damn good. It just got a little old after a while, but I do want to get back in and play some more. It's a good kind of throwback, and it's really well made. Runs like a dream. Crab Game is a really stupid battle royale. It's glitchy on purpose. It's jank as hell. It's fun. Play it with some friends. Have a blast. It's free to play on PC. Chivalry 2. It's more of Chivalry. A little bit better. A little bit more depth for sure. Archery is actually valid, and it's fun. Far Cry 6. It's more Far Cry, but it's better than 5. It is a step up from 5. It's closer to 4. Not quite as good as 3, but then again, there's so much more you can do in this game. And they brought back the companions, so you can have Boomer again. There's also a little dog named Chorizo, and it's a little wiener dog that his back legs are paralyzed, but he has a little cart that he runs around in. And one of his special abilities is he can distract bad guys with how cute he is. They will like look down and go, "Oh, you're so cute," and you can like run up behind them and stab them. It's fantastic. Ratchet and Clank: Rift Apart, the best looking graphics maybe of any console game ever made, and great platforming shooter type, third-person shooter type gameplay. I will say, playing Returnal as much as I did, and then going back and playing more Ratchet and Clank, I'm a lot better at Ratchet and Clank now because the controls it's the same scheme. Exactly. Triangle has the grapple to pull you into things, dodge, jump, melee, ADS, and shoot. It's all the same controls. So I'm playing that like I'm playing Returnal, and I was ripping through the game all of a sudden. Like, not that it wasn't hard. It wasn't that hard to begin with. It's so much easier now playing it after I played Returnal, because Returnal is so much harder. Before Your Eyes, 90-minute interactive experience. Fantastic. Very emotional. Wonderful, lovely game. Uses the camera to track your blinks. Sable, another beautiful game. Fantastic art style. Gorgeous. Didn't run all that great on my PC. Maybe because I was streaming it. Maybe if I play off stream, maybe I won't have as much trouble. But 2 people made the game too. And the fact that it's that gorgeous and has no combat, it's just exploration, but it's really cool. Hitman 3. It's arguably the best of the series, and I think it's the best of the trilogy, and it's more Hitman, but it's Hitman. You know you're in, or you don't know if you like these games or not by this point, and if you do, this one is one of the best ever made. Resident Evil Village, number 2, my second favorite in the franchise now, behind 4. So much fun, such a great action thrill ride type game. survival horror type game. So much fun. And then Returnal, the roguelike bullet hell PS5 exclusive that blew my doors this year. 50 plus hours into it. Fan-fucking-tastic game. A+. Like if I was scoring it, it would have been like a 9.5, maybe even 9.75. That's how much this game is. It's the glitches that I found in this game are, I can pretty much count on 1 or 2 fingers. It's so polished. It blows my mind. So fantastic games this year. You know, to compare it to other years would be tough for sure. I think it would be difficult to say, you know, this year versus whatever year. I don't know, man. I don't think I could say. I'm trying to figure out if I would put that up there now still, or my head's in the way. It's hard to say if this year is better than last year. That's a tough question. If I were to open up my list from last year, let's do that real quick. News, Medium. What was my list last year, and how did I feel about that? Because that's a fun question. We'll put it up on screen. Just a second. I turn off the display capture. Turn it back on. And right here. Hope I don't have to log in to read it. So I had Resident Evil 3, which is a remake. A Ghost Runner. Pretty good game. Fun. Small dev team. Little buggy. Story. Valhalla. Really good game. I know, Joe, that was your first Assassin's Creed game, right? Black Mesa. Really like that game a lot. Small team that made that. Originally started as a mod that turned into like a pet project that somehow got funded by Valve, and they made it. Warzone. Yeah. I really liked Warzone last year, didn't I? No, how can anyone finish Valhalla? I mean, I have a friend who's nuts about the Assassin's Creed series. He probably put 250 hours into it. I mean, he's that guy. Warzone was good for its time, but boy, is Warzone showing its age in the performance. And then when you add in all the shit with Activision Blizzard and all the problems they're having with internally with the way they treat their people, I think, yeah. Miles Morales. Damn good game. I'm gonna boot that up. I want to see how it looks in 4K for sure. Ori and the Will of the Wisps, such a great platformer, emotional, pulling tears out of me at the end. Such a fantastic game. Animal Crossing, I played a lot of that into this year before I finally got burned out on it. Totally deserves to be number 3. Last of Us Part 2 and Ghost of Tsushima. All right, so listen. If I'm comparing last year to this year, last year was stronger. Ghost of Tsushima was a game I platinumed. I put like 75 or 80 hours into it, and it was just incredible looking. I don't know, because I didn't buy the PS5 version to see if they've added more detail to the game, but I can't imagine it looking better than it did. I did install it. It's installed on my PS4, and it runs at 60 frames now, but since I'd already platinumed it and done everything I can in it, I didn't buy the DLC. I don't know. But Last of Us Part 2 is good enough to be number 1 on pretty much every list. And honestly, if Last of Us Part 2 had come out this year, I think everything else would have scooted down one, and I think Last of Us would have been my number 1. Either of these two would have been my number 1 this year. So I think that's fair to say that 2021 was not quite as good a year when it comes to the top 10. And also, what did I have and didn't get to play? Deep Rock Galactic. Some people still playing that. Hades. I'm going to need to play that at some point. Half-Life Alyx. I don't do VR really. Get motion sick kind of easy. Maneater. I did play that. It was free on PlayStation Plus. It's alright. Didn't hold my interest all that long, but it was alright. Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2. That wouldn't have made my list. There's no way. And then here's the games I had as my most I'm looking forward to. Back 4 Blood. Played the beta. Realized it's just more of the same with cards. So I didn't buy it. Deathloop was on my list. See? It's funny what a difference a year makes. Far Cry 6 was on my list. Was on my top 10. Deathloop was on my didn't play it, but maybe I would have. God of War Ragnarok moved. Hitman 3, number 3 on my list. Forbidden West moved. Resident Evil Village, number 2 on my list. And Stalker, which also moved. So this list was pretty good. Returnal was a complete surprise. Maneater got really repetitive. Yeah, dude. Yeah, it totally did. So, all right. Well, I'll tell you what. This has been a lot of fun. I want to thank y'all for hanging out with me and listening to me blab on and on and on about video games and my favorite games of the year. What was your favorite game of the year? If you had to pick one, what was it? What was your favorite game this year? Oh, look up Jupiter Hell. Yeah, okay. It's on Steam. I'll boot up Steam right now. I'll take a look. Store. Jupiter Hell. I'm glad you reminded me. It's like an isometric. It's turn-based. Yeah, man. Turn-based and me. I don't know, man. Is there like a demo or something? Maybe I need to watch a little gameplay of it. Cause super good atmosphere. You know, I'm gonna add it to my wish list. It's on sale for 20% off, but it's still $20. The isometric view I'm not crazy about. At least it looks better than the straight overhead view that you have in Hotline Miami. Which that game, great up to a point, but that overhead view is annoying. This at least has an isometric view, which is cool. But I'd rather play it as an action-y because I'm seeing it says in here turn-based, and I don't care about turn-based games. Like they turn me off. But bump. Where's the drum? There it is. That's my problem with those games. I just don't get into turn-based games at all. I don't. RTS, etc. It's not really my thing. But I'm gonna put it on my wish list, and I'll keep an eye on it because it's 92% positive. It's not turn-based in the sense you might be thinking. Well, it says turn-based. I like the fast action. I'm not quite too old for the fast action bullet hell type games. But this is a bullet hell? Turn-based? Are we sure we're talking about the same game? Are we talking about the same game? This it? Jupiter Hell? Varia update? When did it come out? Oh, it came out in August. Wow. Early access 2 years ago. Is this the one? It says turn-based. It's a turn-based shooter. I think turn-based shooter, I think of XCOM, you know? But maybe I'm off base. I don't know. I added it to the wish list, so I'll keep an eye on it. I always keep an eye on the stuff on the wish list. It's in the vein of things like Binding of Isaac. Ah, okay. I do like me some Binding of Isaac. That's for damn sure. Yeah. Okay. I think we're good. I think I'm good tonight. Ready to go to bed. It's almost midnight. I'm going to see if I can't get a little bit of sleep tonight. But this has been a lot of fun. I want to say thank you all for hanging out with me and seeing my list of my favorite games of the year. I hope y'all had a wonderful evening. I hope y'all have a great new year, because I more than likely won't be streaming tomorrow night. The fact that I stream 2 nights in a row is already a bit of an anomaly. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to post my blog version of the list tomorrow morning on social media, so Twitter and Facebook, and it'll be on my Discord as well. I'll post it in there. And then I'm going to work on editing my channel highlight video for Q4. So taking footage, over 6 hours of footage from the... I've got over 6 hours of footage of the highlight videos I've made over the last 3 months. We're going to chop all that up into a 4-minute long video. I already have the song picked out. I picked it out last night. It's fantastic. I used it as an intro here tonight before I got on stream. And It's no DMCA. You don't have to worry about that. It's copyright free. And then I also am going to make a highlight video from last night's Valorant stream because some pretty funny shit happened in that, and some pretty good kills. And we were playing with one of Limp Lion's friends who is just cracked out of his fucking mind, dude. The guy's a beast, and he had a couple of aces, and yeah, I want to make sure that it gets put into a highlight video. I pulled a couple clips out of it, but that's not good enough. I want to make a highlight video. I want this shit to live on for a while, so I'll make that as well. All of that is happening this weekend, so I will post the highlight video probably Monday or Tuesday for Valorant, and then whichever day I don't post the Valorant one, I'm going to post my channel highlight video. So I'll be working on that over the weekend. But tomorrow night's New Year's Eve. More than likely I won't be on. I hope y'all have a wonderful New Year's Eve. Be safe. All right, shit's fucked up out there right now, and I've seen the line at the COVID test place that's over here, not far from my house. It's over in an old shopping mall parking lot. Just as of a week ago, I never saw more than 1 or 2 cars in there. There's four pull in. You stay in your car and then they swab you, and then you get the results by end of day. I've never seen more than 1 or 2 cars there at a time. There's 4 stalls or 4 slots to drive through. The last 3 days in a row, it has been nothing but cars all around into the shopping mall parking lot. It's crazy. I can't believe how many people are waiting to get tested now for COVID, and it's nuts. And I'm telling you, I'm skipping a New Year's Eve party tomorrow night, and I'm skipping a really good friend of mine is having a birthday party at his mother's house. He's in LA, but he's out here staying with his mom, and he's throwing a party. There's like 70 people that are saying that they're gonna come. I'm just like, no, I can't. I want to. Okay, Joe, that might be the case. That would make sense. I see that and I think, what the fuck? Because they have to get tested because they went out of town for Christmas, or like their job requirement would tell them they have to be tested before they come back to work. Whatever it is, cases are up now. In the last 7 days, there's been more cases than the record back in January before the vaccines really dropped. So, okay, I guess that makes sense. I don't have to worry about that because I work from home. So it would suck to have to sit in that line. Oh, okay. I've been on one plane in the last 21 months. So, well, one plane, one round trip flight. So 4 planes, but it wasn't like that back in September. So that's the way it is where I work. Gotcha. By the way, Joe, thank you. I see I have a gift from you. I'm going to go ahead and accept that. I'm going to install it, and we will stream Jupiter Hell sometime soon. I want to try this. If you feel that strongly about it, then we will install it, and we'll give it a try. We'll try it on stream. I'll give you a heads up next time when I do. All right. Well, I still hope y'all are safe this holiday, and if you drink, call an Uber, call a cab, call a Lyft, call whatever. Shit, if you're in town and you know me, call me. I'll come get your ass. Just don't drink and drive. It is the worst thing you can possibly do. Just don't do it. All right, who are we gonna raid? Tell me someone's on. Heavy's playing Destiny. Fishboat's playing Summer 58. Tell me someone's on. Juggernaut's playing Deep Rock Galactic. We raided Heavy last night. We raided Fishboat last time he streamed. This was going to Juggernaut. Thanks again for the game, dude. I really appreciate you hooking me up with a gifted copy of that game. I was not fishing for you to give me a copy of the game. I promise you. I was not. Joe, do you have a PS5, by the way? Lies! I swear. That was not my intent. You don't own any consoles. PC Master Race for life, huh? I'd say you're missing out. You're missing out, but you're missing out on a small enough number of games where it's probably not a big deal. All right, Juggernaut, raid. Let's do it. This guy is a big old sweetheart. He seriously is. One of the nicest people you'll meet. And he's playing Deep Rock Galactic. He's really into that game, so tell him Wheeler Dealer sent you. And if I don't talk to y'all again, have a happy new year.